particularly in job situations. They set black people up. One thing, many white supremacists have concluded that in most cases, or in many cases, black people, non-white people, act according to their emotions. So they know what buttons to push. They just about know when they're going to fire you and how they're going to go about doing it, because they know when they're going to make you angry. They know how to make you angry. They know how to make you laugh. They know how to get you to relax. They know how to get you uptight. So they say, okay, well, we're going to get rid of that fella today. So we'll have him come in, and we'll start telling him this and telling him that and whatnot. We got our own strategies and whatnot. And we have been studying him, and we know that he has a temper. So at this point, this one thing, because white supremacists always study their victims, and they know more about their victims than the victims know about themselves, all right? The white supremacists know more about me than I will ever know about myself, all right? They make it their business to do that. So they can kind of predict behavior. And in job situations, when they get ready to get rid of a non-white person, they'll say, hey, what we'll do, we'll make him mad, because we know what will make him mad. So, about 9 o'clock today, when he does this and whatnot, you go over and say to him this, and this. Now, that'll get him angry, and he's going to immediately blow up. He's going to start calling names and all like that. And today, by 5 o'clock, he'll be fired. So we'll just set him up for that. He'll walk right into the trap. He won't be expecting it. And this happens all the time.
Yes.
See what I mean? So non-white people should be aware of this. When they get ready to get rid of you, everything is just fine, but now he's got a cousin that needs your job, and he says, hey, well, Henry, that black guy down there, he's got that position, and he's doing an excellent job and all like that. Say, well, but my cousin needs that job. So how are we going to get rid of Henry and do it all nice and neat? Say, well, we'll make him angry. So you know how these people are. They always got a chip on their shoulder and whatnot. They always want somebody to respect them.
Mm-hmm.
They're real big on respect. So you say something that sounds like you're disrespecting them, he's going to go off. It's not going to be disrespect, because these black people don't even know what respect is. See, they just know what we have told them.
So they set them up, huh?
They don't have a definition for respect.
Mm-hmm.
They think they do. Okay? So we'll have them play in our hands, just like they do with everything that we relate to them. That's why we're dominant. That's why we're white supremacists. And that's why they're always victims, because they do not think ahead. They only think about how they feel at the moment. And we'll always use that against them, because they're very emotional people. They fly off the handle real quick. You know what I mean? But you got to know what buttons to push. And we know what buttons to push, because we understand them better than they understand themselves.
You're being set up. Yeah.
When you run the kindergarten, you know your children, all right? And that's what the white supremacists look at the whole world of non-white people. They say, we know how to move these people around. They don't even know they're being moved around. We know how to, set them up for, make them laugh like you wouldn't believe. And we know how to make them mad. Just have them, storming around the place, knocking things over. We know how to do that. See, so we'll just orchestrate it. Anytime we want them to do anything, we know how to handle them. They don't know anything about how to handle us, even though they think they do. That's why they're in the position that they're in, and we're in the position that we're in. We're white supremacists, and they are victims of white supremacy, just like all their ancestors, because they didn't know anything either.
In a socio-material system dominated by racist white supremacists, all jobs that are established and or maintained by white people are dominated either directly or indirectly by those white people who practice racism and white supremacy. No person can be hired, fired, promoted, and or get in trouble on a job unless it is the will of the white supremacists. In addition, there is no such thing as a non-white person being a supervisor, on a job in any socio-material system that is dominated by white supremacy. Only white people are supervisors. Non-white people, however, may have a supervisory title, but in truth, only serve as messengers or carriers. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Happy Monday, welcome back to On the Shoulders of Giants. I am Joseph Ward, and continuing my reading and review of the United Independent Compensatory Code System concept, a compensatory counter-racist code, a textbook workbook for thought, speech, and or action for victims of racism, white supremacy by Neely Fuller Jr. And this video, we're covering area 4, the area of labor. And you saw the clips at the beginning talking about basically racism in the workplace, racism in the area of labor. Well, why wouldn't racism be in the area of labor? So he talks about how white supremacy dominates every aspect of our lives. And because white supremacy dominates every aspect of our lives, we don't really have the control or the power that we believe we have, according to Neely Fuller Jr. The power or the control that we assume or we perceive that we have is all given to us by the white supremacy system. And I'll use my job as an example. So my job is a organization that was created by Black people, and from my understanding has always been pretty much majority ran by Black people. But the white people give us the money. So the white people make the decisions on what we do and how we do what we do at the end of the day. We have free range within all of that, but we have to abide by their rules if we're going to use their money, because we are a federally funded organization. We have a board of directors. From my understanding, I think 90% of the board is Black. The CEO is Black. Basically, everybody is pretty much Black in leadership positions at my organization. But we're federally funded. So the feds tell us what to do at the end of the day. So that's where he's getting at by saying we only have supervisory roles. We're not actual supervisors, because we're only in the supervisory roles. We get to do what we do, but we ultimately have to follow the guidelines that are given to us by the people who have the resources, have the power, who have the control. And because we went to them for their resources, we have to abide by their rules. So supervisory titles versus being the supervisors. Now, the people who are the feds are the supervisors. We have the supervisory titles. So let's get further into this book. So he goes on to say, all white victims are equal servants to the races. All are weak, all are fearful. No non-white person can justly blame the other. No victim is justly qualified to name, call, and or denounce any other non-white person because of his or her submission to or cooperation with what racist man, racist woman. Each non-white person does his or her part indirect or his or her does her part indirect or indirect to support the system of white supremacy. So we can think what we want. We can feel what we want. We can believe what we want. We can hope what we want. We can wish what we want. All of those things. But until we are actually literally in control, until we are literally in power, it's all figurative. It's all ideal. It feels good to say it because we want something to help us escape the reality of our known oppression. We really know, at the end of the day, we really know who's in control. But we can change that, though. That's the purpose of these videos that we're doing on this channel, is to help spark the change. We can change that. We can change our position. We can change our lot in life. That's the purpose of the compensatory code. That's the purpose of the ISIS papers. That's the purpose of all the books that we're going to read in the future. All the content coming from this channel is designed to get us to not only just to believe and to understand and to know and to learn how to, but to actually take the steps to making sure that we can change our situation. So he goes on to say, as long as the system of white supremacy exists, do not expect any job situation to be as it should be, conducted with the justice and correctness. So he gives a long list of suggestions. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'm going to go over some of them. So says he says the first suggestion is observe and study all things and all people without being troublesome. Learn who is doing what, how, and why. Study the ways that different jobs are done. Study the ways that one job is connected to the other. Make yourself as valuable as possible for yourself first, for your people first, for your overall objective, and for your job. Ask questions. Neely Fuller is big on asking questions, and I am, because I've, over time, especially this year, come to understand the power of asking questions and asking direct and right and concise questions. Ask questions. When you do not know what to do or know the best and correct way to do what you have been told to do, do not hesitate to ask to be taught. Ask questions. And later on in the reading, you're going to see why. He wasn't this particular clip from Neely Fuller. It was another clip that I was listening to. But later on in the reading, you're going to see why it's important to ask questions. No, I'm sorry. That was a total different video. So I just go ahead and say it. Because I watched a lot of Neely Fuller this past week. So one of the clips that I was watching, he was talking about the power of asking questions, because when you ask questions, you kind of basically put people on their heels. It puts you in a position of control, and you can kind of direct things when you can ask clear and concise and direct questions. So get in the habit of having your questions together and asking your questions, especially when the conversation, especially in conversation with white supremacists. So you can have your square together. You can be on your square. You can be in control, and you can direct the conversation. Be willing to learn what you need to know from anyone who knows and who is willing to teach you, including those white supremacists who are hostile and insulting in manner. Avoid all unnecessary and all non-constructive conversation. Say only what is necessary to be of constructive help to self or others. Minimize conflict by minimizing contact. Avoid unnecessary and non-constructive interaction with anyone. And we're talking about not just in life, but in the realm of work. What are we talking about, and why are we talking about it? If it's not constructive, why are we talking about it? Constructive can be fun, but it still has to be constructive. If we're doing things that are not constructive to us, it won't help us. Always use each and every law, written law, common law, supreme law, etc., in such a manner as to best promote the production of justice. Always thank people for whatever they say or do that helps to produce justice and the correctness. Always be courteous. Always call people by their name or title that they ask or accept you to call them. Always say only that which will be of most constructive value. Avoid trivial or argumentative conversations. Practice not saying anything when a person makes threats or hostile statements. Avoid making statements. Focus only on answering questions briefly and with maximum courtesy. See, one of the things that he's also getting at in this section, this labor section, and he spoke about it in the clip, and that's why I like that clip, and I use that particular clip to go with the first two news clips, is he's talking about the provoking of the black people by the white people. They understand us. They know how to push our buttons, so they know how to provoke us. They know how to get the emotions out of us. And if they want you fired, they know the best way to get you fired is to get you all up in arms and emotional. Be racist. Do racist stuff. You see the guy at Tesla, do racist stuff. You get him up out of there. Neely Fuller is saying we have to find a better way to handle the situation. Don't react. Be prepared. If we're prepared for any and everything that the white supremacists would throw at us, especially on the job, then we will be prepared. We won't have to react because we will already know. See, we would start, if we start playing chess and stop playing Uno with our cards turned backwards, we can get some type of progress, right? So they're studying us. They have studied us and they're going to keep on studying us. So they know exactly what they need to do to rile us up. So we need to study them so we can best counter all of their moves. The more counter moves that we have for them, the better it will be for us. The more progress we can make, real progress, true progress, progress towards justice, right? Avoid saying or doing anything that will contribute to a person being less able to support himself or herself through constructive work.